when Spider-Man, Hulk, and Deadpool met their alternate selves, face screaming in fear. Doom stands over Deadpool, declaring it's his day of doom. Deadpool, strapped with bombs, just looks up and thinks, "Yep, bad day to be me." Here, Death Mask asks for Deadpool's last words. But Wade's gagged and can't speak properly. Death Mask mocks him and declares himself as Death Mask, overlord of the underworld. Deadpool, still tied up, just thinks, "Oh, kinda catchy." Here, Death Mask orders his goons to dump Deadpool into the water and blow him up. Not kill him, just destroy him. The boat explodes with a huge boom, and Death Mask says, "Bye-bye, Wade Wilson." Then adds, "Well, it's complicated." So it started with a break-in at Horizon Labs. Hulk and Spider-Man showed up to stop it, but Deadpool reminds us he was helping the burglars. Then, a power overload in a machine zapped them to another world. Spidey faced a dark version of himself, but Deadpool says, "Nope, I was talking about him." Deadpool meets his alternate self, Death Wish. They call each other soulmates, the peanut to the butter, the yin to the yang. Then in classic Deadpool fashion, Death Wish shoves him into a shark tank and says, "Say cheese." Deadpool gets smashed by a giant toy, flies off crying. Next, he's in a Wild West shootout, loving the chaos. Later, he's chilling with a bruised-up version of himself, wondering why the other heals so slow. Classic Deadpool, total madness. Deadpool explains how his healing came from Weapon X experiments to cure his cancer. Other Deadpool is clueless, doesn't even know about it. Red Deadpool shocked. That's what makes us Deadpool. Then finds out the other guy doesn't even know he's Wade Wilson. So he punches him. Classic Deadpool logic. Ask a dumb question, get smacked. A powerful Deadpool variant shows up, furious at Death Wish for messing up again. One Deadpool tries to talk things out calmly, tells the other to act mature. But the big guy isn't having it. Punches him mid-sentence and says, "Not dead yet, but you will be if you interfere again." Total Deadpool chaos, with a cape this time. Big Deadpool, Death Mask, is furious. Death Wish was supposed to steal a tech device, but ruined it fighting Spider-Man. Instead of fixing things, Death Wish was goofing off with a cartoon version of himself. Death Mask snaps, says he doesn't tolerate failure. He became a criminal mastermind by avoiding sloppy mistakes. Then he powers up his deadly punch and says, "Today you finally live up to your name." Things are about to go very bad for Death Wish. Deadpool finds Death Wish dying in the aftermath, realizing the real Wade Wilson of this universe is the brutal Death Mask. He screams in agony, heartbroken. And right then, he makes a vow. He's going to destroy Death Mask. Revenge mode. Activated. Spider-Man and Bruce check out a machine that drained other Spider-Men. Spidey reveals he's been snooping as the Amazing Spider and found a database of this world's superhumans, including how this universe's Bruce Banner banished the Hulk. So here, Peter tells the scientist that Bruce Banner didn't get cured. He got banished using magic. The guy's shocked, asking since when Banner uses magic. Then Peter explains that Doctor Strange trained Bruce and made him the new Sorcerer Supreme. Suddenly, Deadpool shows up, confused like he's in the wrong comic, and says he needs Spider-Man's help. Then, in his usual goofy way, he compliments Spidey, asking if he changed his hair. They discover the villain is actually Victor Von Doom. After the Fantastic Four ended, Doom went rogue. Spider-Man had even defeated Galactus and now has his own spider cave. Deadpool is amazed, but as usual, causes trouble by breaking one of Spidey's trophy cases. Spider-Man finds out that in this reality, Wade Wilson became a criminal genius called Death Mask after a surgery by Reed Richards removed a brain tumor. Spidey's trying to dig into the details, but Deadpool keeps messing with his stuff, reanimating limbs and being a distraction, as usual. Deadpool is seen manipulating Spider-Man, pretending to give him information about a dangerous psychopath named Wade Wilson, who is actually Deadpool himself. He talks about an upcoming gang war and filing up dead bodies. While Spider-Man is confused by Deadpool's strange mask and potential lies, Deadpool then blows up a bad guy's warehouse, humorously noting he never said Wade Wilson wouldn't be doing the killing. Deadpool is confronting different characters: Brain Dead, who has nails in his head, Deadeye, with a target on his head, and Deadhead, whose head is oversized and monstrous. The implication is that Deadpool is responsible for their fates, as suggested by the question of whether these bodies are from Death Mask's own crew. The final panel shows someone labeled Bob standing over another fallen figure with a fiery background. It appears Deadpool is taking out members of Death Mask's group. Deadpool infiltrates Wilson Tower, Death Mask's HQ. He's stopped by heavily armored guards who threaten him. Deadpool jokes around, and surprisingly, their scanners identify him as a biohazard. The guards immediately apologize and let him pass, much to Deadpool's amusement at their stupidity. Deadpool, with a gun pointed, is interrupting someone wearing a metal mask and a red hood. The masked figure is saying something about someone being ridiculous and running around like a lunatic with a death wish. And it seems Deadpool is the one they're talking about. Deadpool, called ridiculous by a masked foe, introduces himself, then opens fire. The foe, annoyed, unleashes a powerful energy blast, sending Deadpool flying and realizing he might be in over his head. Deadpool tries to give Death Mask an exploding 8-ball bomb. Death Mask catches it, boasting his healing ability, but then Deadpool reveals he's Wade Wilson and has the same healing factor, implying Death Mask just got duped. Death Mask throws the bomb back, it explodes, and Deadpool stands victorious over the defeated Death Mask, declaring he's softened him up. So Death Mask, looking a bit worse for wear, enacts Phase 3, the old switcheroo. He knocks on a door, where a huge wrestler-type guy answers. Death Mask has Deadpool in tow, and the big guy awkwardly asks if he's interrupting. Death Mask proudly presents Deadpool to a henchman named Fisk, then sends them both off. Moments later, a huge explosion occurs, which Death Mask dismisses casually, noting he wasn't even in costume. Death Mask takes over Wilson Tower, symbolically tearing down its sign and proclaiming, "The king is dead. Long live the king." Later that night, he's seen gleefully reading, planning his Death Mask Incorporated new HQ, and enjoying his newfound power. Death Mask feels a marrow-mouth sense tingle before Spider-Man, now in a similar costume, punches him, declaring all the recent crime leads back to him. Spider-Man then sends Death Mask plummeting. Spider-Man, dressed as Death Mask, confronts the tied-up Death Mask about his crimes. Death Mask then pulls a rope, revealing he's manipulated Spider-Man, who was supposedly trapped in a crazy alternate universe, leaving Death Mask's mask cracked. Spider-Man realizes he's been fighting Deadpool, who dramatically reveals himself by discarding the broken Death Mask. Deadpool then gleefully explains he's been causing chaos, drawing on arcane books, blowing up properties, deleting files, and setting Death Mask's foundation to self-destruct after donating its billions. Spider-Man asks Deadpool if he's the hero, and Deadpool casually mentions Death Mask is likely floating in the Hudson. Deadpool then ponders how to repay Spider-Man, thinking he has an unpleasant surprise in store. The scene ends with a gruesome close-up of Death Mask's injured head next to a mysterious book, implying Deadpool's surprise has happened. This comic shows Spider-Man and Deadpool sharing a heartfelt, perhaps final, hug. They're in strange costumes, and their dialogue suggests a no-do-over situation, hinting at a significant and possibly weird parting. In this epilogue, Deadpool, Wade Wilson, now bald, is with Mephisto. Deadpool's deal with the demon involved getting his life back in exchange for eternal servitude, with Mephisto hinting at unbinding a seal. This comic panel shows a massive, horned, demon-like version of the Hulk emerging, with text saying, "Infernal Hulk, destroy, and let monsters plague the earth." It's a dramatic reveal of a monstrous Hulk.